DVI. All right, you ready?
Bunch's Convenience Store and Deli is your new hot spot for snacks, hot food, drinks, souvenirs, t-shirts, and a whole lot more. Convenient location with great customer service and the best breakfast around. Sausage biscuits, biscuits and gravy, omelets, cinnamon rolls, burritos. Bunch's has daily lunch specials like meatloaf, enchiladas, pot roast, cheeseburgers, hamburgers. Y'all know how Vian does it. The menu is endless, along with delicious homemade desserts. Open from 4 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. Located on South Park Drive, catty corner from the Assembly of God Church. Bunch's Convenience Store and Deli.
Intro started.
It's time for the Broken Bow Savage Football Show, hosted by Jeremy Poole. Tune in for an in-depth interview covering last night's game with players and coaches. Now let's go
5,
live to Bunches
4,
on South
3,
Park Drive.
2,
Here's our host,
1,
Jeremy
and you're
Poole.
live.
And good morning and welcome to another edition of the Broken Bow Savage Coaches Show. We are live here from Bunch's Convenience Store in Broken Bow, and I'm here with, as always, with Coach Rod Davis. Coach Davis, thank you again for being here this morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Coach Lee kind of maybe might have mentioned to me last night after the game that he would like for me to throw in that now that we got the win, Coach Davis is back.
Yeah, he told me that. I told him last week I didn't want to hear it because I knew what was going to happen. I felt pretty bad, pretty sick, and he reminded me I sent him to the coach's show when we get beat. So,
well, I can definitely attest, and I did. I most certainly did. Let everybody know that you were very sick last week. You did. But Coach Lee, Coach Lee, he wanted me to put that in there this morning, so we thought that we would. But
I knew something was coming.
Well, I've got three little things to take away from, and then I'll let you get into it from last night's ballgame. A definite district win to put us to 5-1 in the district. Very, very much needed after a tough loss last week. But for me, first thing, kind of a shaky start, but we finished good. And number two, Stillwell is as good as I've seen them in a while. I know you see way more of them than I do, but as good as I've seen them in a while. But then number three, we came away with the win and 15 district points.
Yeah, it's this bunch. I'm not. Again, I don't try to read them. I just kind of let it flow as it is. I don't try to guess whether they're ready to play or not. But point of emphasis this week was possess the ball and limit mistakes, and we get a misread on some of our quick passing game, and immediately after we score and botch the extra point, which we have to address. But throw a pick six on some of our quick game. Kid just jumped it and took off, and then we break down, have a little breakdown, and say that's a tough play. A lot of these teams are running that stuff, and Coach Ring does it for us. It's that as a secondary guy, it puts you in a bind because you think it's a run play because and you're taught to read tackles and tight ends, and they're run blocking, and so all of a sudden you come up as a secondary guy and you're taught to fit and make a tackle, and all of a sudden the sucker pulls up and throws it, and the linemen aren't downfield. You think they're run blocking, it's play action, but you think they're run blocking, and then they score there, and then pretty much after that we kind of had our way with them defensively. After that, we just had to settle in, and all week long, Stillwell. First of all, he got a heck of a quarterback.
I was going to say, what you were just talking about, he makes a lot of that happen.
He's a fire plug. He's a baller and a gamer. He makes them go as much as ours makes us go. And we knew that. We knew, even in their losses this year, they've scored points. They had scored some points, and but after that second touchdown, we settled down and scored, and then kicked the field goal. I thought AZ kicked the ball really good last night. He kicked it well the last 2 weeks. It took the 9-point lead in the half, and then scored, and then they got it to within one touchdown and on their last score, and then we settled in, and we knew they were going to have a hard time stopping us, our passing game if we could protect, and we did. The kids protected well last night. He got pressured a couple of times, but it's going to happen. You know, it's just going to happen. It's happened all year. You know, I hear all the time, you know, protection, but we protected him enough to lead for it in passing, or at least be right there with the kid from Cushing. So, I don't know. You know, still they had a lot to play for last night, and so did we. You know, I told them all week long we had to treat this week like a state championship because playoffs. So if we'd have lost these last two, we would have been out. So we could have been anywhere 1 to out, and that was the message all week. Win this one, we're in, and then see what happens. See what happens in week 10.
Yeah, and that's something that at the end of this, at the end of our show, we'll go into some more district scenarios, because that can become a 1-hour show in itself. We'll, or not say we will. You will narrow that down for me, because I still don't know myself. But first things first, we did, like you said, we did protect really good. I mean, for the most part, really, really good last night. But first play of the game, and they lay off of Jakyron, and we hit him, and he's got about a 5-yard cushion. I thought, we're fixing to score 70. But still well tightened up. Number 33, I don't know if he's kin to the Philpott from Salisaw, but he is a Philpott, and a couple times he gives us fits.
He's a load, and it's funny, we sit there and watch film on him and try to get ready to defend certain things. And the games we got on them, 33 is the blocker. He's the slot guy. He's the blocker. When they put him in the backfield, you know, he just didn't carry the football. The other kid, I believe number 5 or whatever, the smaller kid that could run, was the main running back along with the quarterback. And I look up there, you know, and of course, you know, we got after him pretty good on defense. I mean, we knocked some head there early, and some of the boys went out. And I look up there at 33 in the backfield, and they're handing it to him.
Yeah.
And that dude probably runs about a 5'2", 40. But I'm telling you right now, he was a load. He hit our kid. He was, you know, probably a 215, 220-pound running back, and had some good patience, some good vision. Well, he finished runs really well, and you know, again, we knew that offensively they were pretty good, but just simply because of the scores and their ability to throw the football, and then the little quarterback, like I said, is a gamer. But you know, we tightened it up on defense. They're pretty good. You know, we're a bit, but don't break. We're not just to shut you down, dominant, and that's hard to defend. I'm telling you, that kind of team's hard to defend, because you know they show so many things one way, and you teach kids to respond and trigger, especially as a linebacker coach. You teach kids to fit where they're supposed to fit in the front, and trigger based on what they see, and they do it right, and then the kid comes running all the way back out the backside, and because they just sit there and hold the ball, and then all of a sudden he sees a glimmer of daylight out the back, and you know, I know Quinlan was struggling with that last night, and Coley both were kind of struggling with, you know, they would trigger, and then the kid would come out the back, and it wasn't called cutback plays. These were kids. This was a play that these kids were making based on, you know, I guess our over aggressiveness or whatnot. But you know, I got some kids last night on defense that played really well, I thought. And again, several times they get down there. They didn't get inside the red zone, but they got down there inside our 40 a few times, and we bowed up and stopped them 2 or 3 times on 4th down.
Yeah, we did. I thought, man, which he always plays good, but I thought Coley was everywhere last night.
Yeah, 33 and 88. Wow. 33 and 88. Leland Billy showed up again last night. You know, and I thought all of our kids. We're still getting production out of old Cupid and Carter Goss, and you know, the front 7. Jace Roberts I thought played pretty good, but you know, it's the same guys, and you know, we're trying to rotate some different guys in, but you know, basically, you know, Leland's got to play, Coley's got to play, Quinlan's got to play. They got to play great, and then the quarterback has to play defense, and he plays great defense as well. So in the front 7, and then you know, I thought the secondary held up really well against a very awkward offense, but a playmaking quarterback. You know, I felt like once we settled in right there in the second quarter, mainly in the second quarter, and then you held it together pretty good there. And again, they drove the ball on us a little bit there. It scored once with that 33. We got 11 guys on the dude, and he carries everybody across the goal line. He's a tough kid.
Which he was getting help from his guys too, but like I said,
He's a tough kid. I mean, he likes contact, and he's just probably just he wasn't scary looking. I knew he was about 210, 215 pounds, but he's just one of those kids that drives and likes contact. He'll lower his head and run right over you. And he got us a few times.
he did, and I'm not going to call the kid out, but he melted one.
I'm going to call him out tomorrow, dear. We're going to laugh at him a little bit, but yeah, he knocked one of our boys into next week.
I'm telling you, about 3 yards back.
Yeah. Didn't quite know, but again, that's one of those deals where we have to lift weights because we're so small, and we have to be strong. But when push comes to shove, you're dealing with 215, 220 pounds. It's going to run over 150 every time.
Sure,
every time.
Sure.
So,
yeah. I thought Marky Mark had a good idea one time on the tackle. He just grabbed him up around the shoulder, not around the neck. Grabbed him up around the shoulder and just held on.
Yeah, just kind of force call. That was a good tackle.
I thought it was. I thought, you know what? That's pretty smart. Mark knows. Yeah. Not even. Yeah.
But I thought we played all right. I mean, Cook gets a pick late that sets up a touchdown and just kind of ices the game, if you will. But the one thing we gotta continue to get better on, and if we want to keep playing, you got to protect the football. That's going to continue to be my message to my quarterback and to the running backs and to everybody that touches the ball. You have to, whether you make a great play or not, you got to possess and protect the football and not give situations away, not give points away. And, you'll hear that at every level. It's okay to punt and play defense versus just making mistakes. And so that's one thing that we'll continue to address. I thought our guys. The word is resilient. We hung in there, and you're not gonna. It was a sloppy field, sloppy everything. Playing a pretty good team, and like you said, that's one of the best Stillwell teams. And they were playing for the playoffs last night against us. They were playing for the playoffs, and they had made them. I don't know. It's historically a basketball school, and
they can play some basketball.
Yeah, they can. They won a state championship. I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, and for a few years there they were 5A because they have about 10 or 12 feeder schools that make them 5A in high school, and they had 6'10" kids, 6'9" kids all over the place on the basketball court, but football, they've always kind of been in the bottom of a very, very difficult district.
That's right.
But now they're starting a new coach, and they're kind of trying to turn things around in football.
Which one was the head coach? The balding one or the big one?
Not the big one.
Not the big one.
Not the
okay,
big
well, I told Mr. Revis wrong. I thought the big one was. Anyway, but I guess it was the balding.
It was the guy with the kind of beard, goatee.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. He was a big guy too, but he wasn't the big one.
Yeah, not the big.
The big one.
He wasn't the big show.
He wasn't the big show. No.
All in all, it was a good night. Like they would when it's somebody that sees us every week, like myself and Mr. Revis, and you and the coaches see them every day. You can't help but get a little frustrated. It's just the follower part in us. We don't live and die by it, but we sure do invest a lot into it. Mr. Revis gets to see the kids daily, like yourself. I don't, but I've been around sports for a long time. Been around Broken Bow for a long time, and kids. Sometimes you can kind of get bent out of shape, but they're 15 to 18-year-old kids, I guess you would say. So, like you said, you don't try to read them, but they're I hear time and time again what a great group of kids they are.
Well, they are.
Nothing to do with football.
Yeah,
What kids they are. I hear
I
that.
pride myself. One of the things I'm very proud of. You know, I was principal for a long time, and I dealt with a lot of stuff. And you know, one of the things I didn't want this bunch to be was constantly in the principal's office, constantly on the ineligible list. And you know, I tell them I don't want drama. I like boring. I like everything to be boring and normal until Friday nights. I don't need to deal with you know, a situation on Tuesday afternoon or something that happens in the school. And this bunch, for the most part, because I got some characters out there. I'm telling you, and they're doing great in the classroom as far as the eligibility list goes. And you know, just a little ornery trouble, but nothing. I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of how they behave and how they represent. And they, trust me, there's a couple of them out there that got some tendencies. You know, they're a handful. They're a handful, but I'm very proud of how they represent the school.
Well, that's right. I heard a football coach one time that I've known for years say, he said, you know, in football, you don't really want a bunch of choir boys. He said, you got to have some rough, and that's not the word he used, but he said, they got to have some kind of half rough ones sometimes, and that's true a little bit. But
Yeah, I need a ruffian. You need some ruffians every now and then.
Right.
I mean, you got to have some of them kids that are up around the edges. And Broken Bow's made a living right here in this town with those kind of kids. Them old kids that are a little bit ornery and might have a tendency every now and then, you know, to stray. But you know, you try to. In the end, I tell them weekly. You know, in the end, it doesn't. This football is fun, and it's been a big part of my life since a very, very young age. But you know, if things don't work out the way you want to, if I see these boys 10 years from now and they're good men, you know, I feel like I had a part to do with that. So
you bet.
That's the most important thing.
You bet. You know, we Stillwell, we talk about every year, every time we go there, every other year, I guess. It is as old school of a feeling as you. It almost reminds me of going to it's not like I get to go to them anymore. A Class A, maybe a small Class 2A field. It's stuck right in the middle of town. The houses surround it. The field is got about maybe 6 yards of sideline before you get to the chain link fence. But talking about how good our kids were, and they are, they were and they continue to be. But I also kind of want to mention Stillwell. They had about, I'm going to say at least 4 personal foul penalties for hitting us out of bounds, but not one time did I feel like any of those were malicious. Now, you're down there a lot closer. You might have a different. For me, what I thought it was them just playing hard to the whistle.
Well,
I really felt that.
I don't think any of the penalties. I haven't looked at the film yet. There was a lot of penalties.
There was a
a lot. And there was
Sometimes without no flag being on the field. You remember that a couple times?
Yeah.
Remember Trevor's flag? There's not a flag on the field, but we're fixing to get it.
Yeah, I kept waiting on that last touchdown there. I kept looking for the flag.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you know, it's one of those deals. I know one of the guys on that crew really well. And you're right; those were not malicious hits at all. One of the things that the boys in Stillwell, though, they were upset because they had a lot to play for. And like I told you before, you're dealing with young men who are full of big and bigger, and they. But no, it was just a hard fought game. There was some contact out of bounds. Nothing to get anybody. You know. I couldn't see the sideline. The old field was just wore out. I tell you what it's like. I tell you exactly what it's like. And I don't want to offend nobody, but it's like coming to Broken Bow when you start talking about that field.
Sure.
When you walk
big
in,
crown.
When you walk in that field though at Broken Bow, you can feel the tradition. You can feel the guys that have come before this team. It's almost like the ghosts of past are all over. It's a hard place for teams to come win in Broken Bow. soon as football's over, they've got everything lined out. They're fixing turf their field.
Oh, really? Right, Stillwell's going to have turf.
Stillwell's going to have turf. They're going to start playing soccer, and they're going to turf their field. And he was talking about the crown. Historically, you want a good crown so that the water will drain.
Sure.
Not one that big. If you can't see the shoes of the coach on the other side, that's a giant crown.
Well, and we used to have ours got cut down.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, we did. We used to have a big one.
Yeah, we did. We had a giant crown.
Yeah, we sure did. We sure did. But it got cut down, and it looked. But it is. I like those old school feelings myself. Stillwell is definitely an old school feeling.
It is
because their stadium is not. And like is an old school feel, and theirs is even smaller than that. Peter School, Dallanego, I don't know if I say that right. Brushy.
They got like 10. They got 10. One of their coaches told me years ago. Of course, at Broken Bow, we're a 3A middle school, and then we become a 4A high school.
That's right.
They are. I don't know. It's basketball. So,
I think just we'll try not to
Bunch's
drag that
Convenience
out.
Store and Deli is your new hot spot for snacks, hot food, drinks, souvenirs,
guys.
T-shirts, and a whole lot more. Convenient location with great customer service and the best breakfast
Can
around.
you hear me?
Sausage biscuits, biscuits and gravy, omelets, cinnamon rolls, burritos. Bunch's
Mic
has
check.
Bunch's Convenience Store and Deli is your new hot spot for snacks, hot food, drinks, souvenirs, t-shirts, and a whole lot more.
Four, three, two, and you're live.
And welcome back here to Bunch's Convenience Store as we visit with Coach Rod Davis in our weekly Romo Coaches Show. Another win last night. Very important win with the 15 points that we needed to get. I believe we ended up winning by 24, which is a blessing. Tough one on the road, tougher team than what we've seen in past. But Coach Davis, we got one game left at home against Ada. Poto shut them out last night, I believe, 27-0, I think. Make some sense of us. Make some sense out of it for us. What could happen this week?
Well, we're in. That's for sure. Last night's win put us in for sure. We weren't guaranteed to be in the playoffs until last night. We had to win that game to guarantee ourselves to at least get another game. So basically what it boils down to, points-wise, we're sitting in third, points-wise. So we're playing for at least third and fourth. No matter what Hilldale and Poto, what happens with them, we're playing to go to Wagner or Cushing in the first game. Because if we beat them and the points and Hilldale covers their 15, which they're probably going to, and Poto's probably going to. If it works out that way, then Hilldale will be 1, Poto will be 2, we'll be 3, and Ada will be 4. If Ada beats us, then we're 4th, no matter what happens with those other ones, because they'll have a head-to-head, and we'll both have 2 losses. When there's two teams tied, you go the head-to-head. So we have to win this game again to at least lock up third for sure. The other scenarios are if something happened, the points. I believe we're 4 behind Poto, and I believe we're 8 behind Hilldale, if I looked at the board correctly. So, we're still playing for first place. I have to approach it like we're still playing for first place because that can happen. One of them gets upset, the other one gets played close. Then we could be 1 if we covered our 15. So that's the way we're going to approach it this week, is that we're playing for 1 through 4 now. In reality, I believe that Poto's going to finish their season, and I think those 2 will do what they're supposed to do. But you never know. You said
Poto plays still well, right?
Poto plays still well, but it's at Poto. And going into that stadium, it's hard to beat those guys in that stadium. So, and Hilldale plays Fort Gibson. And that's kind of a rivalry with those 2 schools because they're right there, just a few miles apart.
I guess they are, aren't they? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, the one on the south side of Muskogee and the other one over there across the river on the east side.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what's going to happen. I think I know what should happen. You got Poto and Hilldale, and they're better than those other 2 teams, but you don't know. So you approach it like what we can control, and what we can control is win our game and get third, which would get us a trip to Wagner, which I'll take. I'll take that. Historically, Wagner's Wagner. They've won numerous state championships in the last decade and a half or so, and but they're not Cushing. Cushing's different. Cushing is next level stuff, and but I'm just happy to be in. We're tickled to death to be in. It's amazing to show you how tough the district is. We could have 1 loss and finish third.
I was just thinking when you said that a while ago, I honestly did not realize the scenario was as you just said it. I really didn't.
Well, two things hurt us. Number one, the first game beating Medill by 1. That hurt us. And then last week when Hilldale covered against us, the 15. Those things hurt us. pretty bad as far as the points go. But yeah, we're close. I know. Hilldale, Fort Gibson, Poto, and the Stillwell game will be very interesting because we're close. Like I say, we're 4 points within Poto in the points. So if they stumbled at all, which they probably won't at home, knowing what they have to play for, and we do cover. But again, if we lose, if we were to get beat, then we're fourth. If we win, even if the other ones cover, we're third. And if somebody stumps their toe a little bit, then we can be first or second. So it's just how things are going to be. It's just how the schedule falls, man. It's a tough district.
Oh, man. You put Medill and Ada in there, and it even makes it. Mr. Evans mentioned last night that possibly Medill could finish 3-7 or 4-6, and I think they're a pretty good ball club myself.
Heck of a football team. I think we were talking about it. I think if they go north instead of coming east, if they went in there with Tuttle and Blanchard and that bunch, they could have been playing, because that district's kind of Bethany, Tuttle, Blanchard. But you've got Chickasha, and then you've got Newcastle, I think, battling out for fourth, and Medill could have been right there with them battling out for fourth. And I don't know how good those teams are. As I know what they are historically. But they come over here with us, and this happens to them. So that's a heck of football. I mean, you're right, heck of a football team that's gonna not make the playoffs and win 3 or 4 games. And I mean, they just gave us all we wanted. I mean, they had some of the best athletes.
Oh man,
they had tremendous athletes. In certain spots, especially that those receivers were very good. As good as ours, and
we had our foots on our throat too.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they still come back.
We did. We've done that a lot. We've done that a lot this year. We have people. We have people down, and we let them back in and finish. And sometimes we, like last night, we start slow, and then stay in the fight and finish. And that's why I don't try to guess with this bunch. They are a here today, gone tomorrow, fly by the seat of your pants bunch of kids. My blood pressure cannot go up. I've learned throughout this year to just stay as level as I can with them, because it's one of those situations like I go to a basketball game and you see the kid that's not supposed to be shooting the three, and he shoots it, and you're screaming, no, 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 and then it goes in, and you're screaming, okay, yes, that's fine, shoot it again. This bunch is, I told one of the dads, they're making me old. This is a hard bunch because we're just not, we're dang good. We're just not a consistent model of consistency at all times, but we're dangerous because we can throw the football, and that makes us dangerous.
We can score. We can score quickly. And Mr. Evans has made point several times this week. It's almost as if I would rather us be about at the 25-yard line than I had at the 5.
I hate that. We had a 1st and 10 from the 10.
We did.
That's the worst scenario in football, to have a 1st and 10 from the 10.
Yeah.
Because you're right. We're not going to line up, run over you, and run it in there. We got to use a little bit of finesse and a little bit of strategy. I know Coach Ring. The closer you get to that end zone, you think, well, you can just line up, and run over people. No, we don't. We don't have that 290 pounders, and so we have to kind of finesse you a little bit and make your, we do a lot of read plays, passing game, and Brumley's got a lot of freedom on that to run the ball, or the play called, or pull it, throw the quick game and the RPOs and all that stuff. And he just played a heck of a game last night again. And yeah, I'm like you though. If we get down inside the 20 or 15, I'm like, man, we should have scored. We might not score now.
Last night, I believe we were first and goal on the. It's hard to tell. Maybe the 2-yard line, and we didn't get it in.
Yeah, we just we that's the one thing. The old kids. I can't say enough about them. We've used about 11 different offensive linemen this year. Last night was a different combination, a first combination that we've used all year. And they're busting it, man. They're trying. They're strong enough to play. But like you talked about a minute ago, some of them guys up there, some of them kids, a couple of them are sophomores, a couple of them are injured. We got 2 seniors out there playing hurt, but you just got to be an outlaw a little bit at times up front. You got to be an outlaw. You got to be that guy we were talking about a minute ago. And sometimes, I tell them, don't be nice. When you're playing on the offensive line, don't be nice. Be that guy. Be nice all the rest of the time and be nice in school. But when you're up there in the trenches and you're playing against a kid that's firing off football and wanting to hit you and hit our ball carriers, you don't play nice. And we're getting better. We're getting better. But like I said, that was, I think, the 11 different kids on the O-line this year.
I was going to ask you, we did start someone new at right guard, didn't we?
Yeah, Trampton Mulkey, he's back. Mulkey started the year on the depth chart at the center. He was going to be the start center. And then Talahina moves in, and we realize he's a center, and then he breaks his leg. So we used Jake Jordan early on in 3 or 4 games. Sophomore, did a great job, got a bright future. But Zamudio, we moved him to right guard last week, and he gets sick. He's puny on Monday and Tuesday. And then Mulkey got released. He's got a torn up shoulder right now. But I thought, let's just put him a guard. And then we moved Jalen Mahina to guard because he's got 2 busted up ankles, and you can't play tackle. You cannot play offensive tackle if you got busted up legs because you got a kick step on 5 techniques.
And he got in an awkward position last night early in the ball game. I can't remember first or second quarter, but Mahina got in a really awkward position. I saw it right at the end. He got kind of into and sideways, and he did get up, but I thought to myself, my gosh,
Yeah,
another
injury. Yeah,
but O'Donnell also got the same treatment. He got pushed in by the pile to the back. He got up, but anyway, yeah.
Those all of them are limping. It's that time of year when everybody's beat up and bruised up and gimpy, and you just got to play. I told them last night, you just got to play. It happens. If it's not a major situation, then you got to get out there and play. I mean, your season's on the line. Your season, these games really matter. If you want to play an extra one, if you want to play one extra one, which is what we guaranteed ourselves last night, then you got to play. You got to get out there and go. And I was very proud of them. They protected well. And again, I know Coach Williams it's a frustrating situation having so many injuries and playing so many different guys. Some young offensive lines have to gel. They have to come together in kind of a one unit brotherhood kind of a thing. And it's hard when you're moving guys in and out all the time due to illnesses and sicknesses and just some guys not performing very well. You move them around and those tackles have to be different though because they got to play in space and they got to play against 5 techniques and you can't play a tackle if you've got bad wheels and so we moved Jalen inside. I have to watch tape this morning, but I thought he played all right.
Yeah, well, main thing, went on the road. You laid out our district scenario now because I'll just be 100% honest with you. I wasn't sure. That's why me and Mr. Evans was trying to decipher, and I said, look, best thing for me to do is show up to the coach's show and let Coach Davis lay it out because I'm not sure. I didn't realize that we could even win and still get third. But you laid it out for us. We've got historically, traditionally, one of the top. I mean, overall, you've got to include Ada as one of the top programs in the state over the years. And they're coming to our place. It could be a really good one. I expect it to be a really good one. I don't know anything about Ada other than I've seen some things on social media. They might have one really good athlete, maybe.
They got 2 receivers. They throw it well.
They throw it a lot.
Yeah, well, they don't throw it a lot. They just throw it well. They've got a couple of 6'4", 6'5" receivers that can do it. The quarterback's back. I don't know how they came out of last night's game. I'm sure Poto took it to him pretty good. And I'm interested in watching the film this morning today to see how Poto shut him out because they got a pretty explosive offense. And Ada, when you talk about 4A football and this, that middle of the road 3A, 4A, 5A stuff in Oklahoma, it starts and ends with Clinton and Ada and Tuttle. I mean, Coach Coons put Tuttle on the map and won all them state championships, and then Broken Bow's right in there historically in the conversation. But the McBroom family up at Ada, and they forever and ever it was the Clinton Red Tornadoes and the Ada Cougars in 4A or sometimes even 5A. But they, like a lot of us, they go on runs of stretches of hard times, and but they got to play good. Coach Osteen, I know him well, and he's a heck of a ball coach, and Shanley's up there coordinating, I'm sure, the defense. I don't know what else he's doing, but I looked at their sideline the other day on one of their videos. On one of the videos I was watching them, they've got 12 coaches on the sideline, and I was like, my gosh, my gosh. I mean, and then I know I counted 14 when we went and watched them scrimmage. I counted 14 high school football coaches. So I don't know all of them, but Brad's got Coach Osteen's got a bunch of them up there. I mean, it's almost like each position on all. I'm sure they're split staffed, and I'm sure they do it that way. But the Ada Cougars are Oklahoma football, man.
You bet. Condick's still at Wagner, I'm sure.
He is.
I figured
he is.
I haven't heard any different, but
he is, and they're not scary good like they have been, but they're dang good.
We've played them when they were really good as a 4 seed.
Yeah.
I think it was when
Coach Holt.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it Jalen Watson and Callahan?
Holt. I think the last time we played them was the playoff game in Coach Holt's first year here.
Was it?
Yeah.
We were a 4 seed
Yeah.
to Wagner, and it was a bad feeling when we left.
Yeah, it was. They had Division I talent all over the field. I think they had 4 kids signed at OSU. That was the linebacker.
That was Rodriguez.
And the defensive end. They were all on those teams.
And Ulaga had the Martin kid that played at OSU.
Yep.
That was all. I remember that.
Yeah, they were loaded. They were loaded with talent. But I believe that this bunch of kids on any given night can give somebody a problem, including Cushing or anybody else.
No question.
I think that you better. And again, I don't know. I'll try. We'll get them ready for whoever. Where this week's going to be Ada, but we're dangerous because we can score, and the teams better get ready for us.
Well, Coach Davis, thank you again for making the trek over here. Long ball game last night. I know me and Mr. Evans, we rolled in about 2 o'clock, and I'm sure y'all were a little bit later than that because we left before y'all. But anyway, glad your health, not only just yours, our players. Glad everybody's kind of back in the swing of things. I hope everybody turns out this Friday night. We're going to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the 1972 state championship team. I think that's a cool deal. I don't know whose idea that was, whose ever it was. I'm going to say I think that was pretty neat.
Yep, that's a heck of a deal. It's the couple of things. We're going to celebrate that state championship team, and then we're also going to celebrate our seniors. So
that's right.
It'll be festive, and it'll be a heck of a football game. I know Ada will bring them down here, so we better get ready.
You bet. So thank you again. Thank you all for listening. Thank you to Bunches for continually being a supporter of us and letting us do this. We've kind of got our own little coaches corner right here, and we're thankful for that. We're thankful for the way they treat us and the way they support our kids. And again, thank you to all the listeners, and we'll see you at 7:30 next week. 7:30 Friday night. Be there or be square. You've been listening to this Broken Savage Coaches Show on Best Country 106.
Bunches Convenience Store and Deli is your new hot spot
Great
for
job,
snacks,
guys.
hot
Thanks.
food, drinks, souvenirs, t-shirts, and a
Yeah.
whole lot more. Convenient location with great
All right,
customer
bye.
service and the best breakfast around. Sausage biscuits, biscuits and gravy, omelets, cinnamon rolls, burritos. Bunches has daily lunch
Oh,
specials like
macaroni.
meatloaf, enchiladas, pot roast, cheeseburgers, hamburgers. Y'all know how Vian does it. The menu is endless, along with delicious homemade desserts. Open from 4 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. Located on South Park Drive, catty corner from the Assembly of God Church. Bunches Convenience Store and Deli.
Thank you for joining us for the Savage Football Show. A big thank you to Bunches for hosting the show every Saturday morning during high school football. Tune in next week at 8 a.m. for a breakdown of the football game under those Friday night lights. Only on Best Country 106.